Straightforward question. Would you take Jean-Philippe Mateta at Manchester United? This has been bubbling a couple of days right now. We have apparently got into talks with him, and that's what we're talking about at the top of this live show this Saturday evening. So just tell me, would you take Jean-Philippe Mateta? There is a poll running right now. It's a simple yes or no. Get involved. If you're catching up later after all the football has finished, then please do get commenting below. Yes or no, Jean-Philippe Mateta. I've seen some people online saying apparently we was turning down Victor Gyökeres because he was turning 27. Jean-Philippe Mateta is 28 next. It's all about money again. Yeah, of course it's about money. We haven't bleeding got any money. That's the situation, and that's what we're up against right now. And how people would actually think that it's because of money. Well, it clearly isn't just about money with Gyökeres. We know this because he wants Champions League football. And obviously he's going to wait to see if United do anything in Europa League. I'm guessing that anyway, but that's the story. But people jumping onto Mateta's back simply because of his age, who he plays for, that's what we're dealing with right now. And just so you're quite clear, his current club is 6 points ahead of us in the league table. So let that sink in. That's where United are actually at. We're taking a striker, if we do buy him that is, off one of our rivals. Quickly, before we get started on the show actually, the most annoying thing in the world is like when you actually thought you had a drink, you goes to grab the drink and then you realise you left it in another room and you've already pressed live. Just did that right now and yeah, really pissed off that my drink is not with me right now. Yeah, is what it is, isn't it? Manchester United and other transfer news bubbling around as well. We've got that covered as well. The best football of the day was at Wembley. Obviously the Sidemen versus YouTube All-Stars. Do you know what? I get more excitement watching things like that than United at the moment. My lad Alfie plays for FC United under-18s. He won his top of the table clash today 4-3 with an injury time winner and went top of the league. I get more enjoyment watching that, freezing my nuts off or being blown away, than watching Manchester United. Obviously tomorrow is quite a significant day, as you all know, because there is protests going on. Again, don't forget everybody, Tollgate Pub in Trafford, that is going to be where the meet starts at 3 p.m. The match starts at 3:15, going down Tollgate Road, onto Warwick Road, onto St Mark Busby Way, then into the Munich Tunnel. That is the pathway for the protest. Go along, be vocal, let your voice be heard and your anger vented in frustration at the ownership of this football club. Do it in a non-violent way. Just go there and make a noise if you're going to do that tomorrow, even if you're not going to the game. I am still trying to find out what the so-called walkout is, and I'm deciding where I'm at and what I'm doing tomorrow with the game as well. So it is just what it is. I won't do anything unless there is a majority doing it. That's all I'm going to say. But if the opportunity is there to do it, I'm all in. And that's all I'm going to say on it. But I'm still trying to finalise things on that side of it. But yeah, big day tomorrow for Manchester United. Big day for Ruben Amorim and his team. I've just got that feeling that it's not really going to be anything that anyone's bothered about the game on the pitch tomorrow. I don't know. Maybe. Yeah, if United turn up and beat Arsenal, we can all laugh at Arsenal. And that's a good thing, isn't it? But look, everybody knows that Manchester United under Ruben Amorim, like we said this morning, is going to be more significant, and we're going to see the real Ruben hopefully past the summer when the transfer window is been and gone and we've got a team that wants to play for him. One of them players that United are apparently looking at is Jean-Philippe Mateta. We did a story on it only 2 days ago, in fact, about Manchester United being interested in him. I ran it, I asked a question, I did another separate video on it, and it's come out today from L'Equipe, as you can see in the tweet at the bottom of your screen, that Manchester United have already held talks with Crystal Palace, with the Crystal Palace striker, and he is valued at approximately 40 million. They're not going to get 40 million for Jean-Philippe Mateta, so calm down if you're thinking that United is going to go and blow 40 million on a player that's turning 28 next. They're not going to do that. We know they're not going to do that. United will actively be looking at Jean-Philippe Mateta. I think they will, and I like him. I don't think he's a bad striker. He's better than what we've got, but I am realistic on this one as well. If Crystal Palace play hardball, this is just another target that United have looked at and walked away from. That's how I see it happening. If they want to play hardball, United will wait it out. They could get Jean-Philippe Mateta a year further down the line on a free transfer. They're not going to go and spend 40 million. There are other strikers out there that they can get for that price, namely Liam Delap. So it's up to United how far they want to take negotiations. But one thing is a guarantee, and that is that Manchester United will not be spending 40 million on Jean-Philippe Mateta. As good as he is this season, he hasn't really... He was all right last season, wasn't he? But this has been his sort of breakthrough season, and he's done well for Palace. He's done really well for Crystal Palace, and their season has completely turned around. Completely turned around. And again, I'll reiterate what I just said at the top of the show. For the people that are coming out on social media saying, again, it's clearly all about money. Why are we going for a 28-year-old when we're going to turn a 27-year-old down in Gyökeres? Well, like I said a moment ago, Gyökeres wants Champions League football. Mateta probably isn't bothered about Champions League football right now. Manchester United are looking at the money, and it is a money situation. We can't afford to spend 62 million on Gyökeres. Can we afford to spend less than 40 million on Mateta? Probably yes. We have got an issue with finances. It's as simple as that. Manchester United don't have a lot of money, and we have to be very, very delicate and very careful and very clever in what we do in this transfer window. And in this transfer window coming up, Manchester United need key players that we've spoken about. And we've already talked this week about the likes of Garnacho, Kobbie Mainoo, their attitudes and issues within the club, and what's necessary going into the summer. Manchester United will have to sell players, and we know that is coming. It is very, very significant in terms of what Manchester United do with them funds, though. All eyes on the prize, and the prize is bringing in the right type of player to Manchester United. That's what we're looking at right now, and that's what this club actually needs. So, looking into everything around Mateta, I want to get your thoughts on this. I'm going to come to that poll that I've put up right now. Would you take Jean-Philippe Mateta at Manchester United? So I don't know if I am surprised, actually, because I think there is a reality creeping into the United fan base right now that we are stuck with what we've got. And that is a shite situation with not a lot of money, and we cannot really be picky. We've got to find players that are better than what we've got that can work in the Premier League, I feel. Premier League proven players, I think, is a definite way to go. And 64% of you so far in that poll have said, yes, you would take Jean-Philippe Mateta at Manchester United. So, yeah, surprised and not surprised, to be honest. I've seen plenty of differing arguments for and against Mateta. I heard Troy Deeney on Talk Sports saying that he's not even good enough for Crystal Palace. That's a bit harsh, isn't it, Troy? He's not too bad. He's not too bad a player. Look, at the end of the day, Mateta will not be bought by Manchester United for 40 million. That's how I see it. If United can negotiate it down into the 20s, then I think we'll go for it. But I think the whole point in this, United negotiating, United having him on the list, Simon Stone has talked about this as well from the BBC, La Keeper talking about it, other broadcasters are talking about it as well. I think it is that calibre of player that we're looking at rather than just Mateta, and that's our sole target in the summer. He's a good striker. He isn't ideal. He isn't Manchester United game-changing type of striker. That's not what he is. He's another player that I feel would do a job for Ruben Amorim. Not as good as some of the top targets that we've been looking at. Arsenal look like they're all over Osimhen right now. We've seen more stories today on that, and Arsenal are going full bore onto negotiating with his agent now and trying to get him over the line. That would make Arsenal a real outfit. It would. That would be, I feel, the missing link for them. And that would turn them into a scary proposition again next season with him up front. So that would be a great signing for them. Sadly, we cannot really talk about them sorts of deals. The reality is that United, unless we pull off a miracle in Europa League, are going to be looking at Mateta, Delap. That's our calibre of player. Graham says, to be fair to Mateta, his upturn in form has coincided with Glasner's appointment. Yeah, Glasner deserves credit in what he's done there at Crystal Palace and how he's turned that team around. Shaky start to the season, and credit to them for standing by him because they were crap at the start of the season. But that form that they showed into the back end of last season and then the shaky start this season, Palace have definitely stuck to their guns, and playing a certain way under Glasner has suited Mateta. I said it before, like last season he was good, like what Graham says there, when Glasner came in. And I think that's what you got to look at with some strikers. Some fit the way that a certain manager or coach wants to play. Maybe this is what United are looking at right now. Maybe they're looking at how Palace operates, what the characteristics, there's that word again, Ruben loves to use that a lot, of these players. This is proper recruitment. This is finding a player that you don't expect to go and get, rather than what everybody's saying right now in that we're not getting the right player. He's a Crystal Palace striker, for God's sake. It's Mateta. He's 28. We shouldn't be going for a player like that, should we? Well, Ruben Amorim's got 2 years left on his contract come the summer. And if Mateta comes in and does a job for him in that number 9 role and helps him climb that table and maybe get back into Europe, then you're standing up there and you're applauding the bastard, aren't you? That's what you're looking at. It's clever recruitment that United need right now, not spending stupid money. And that is something that this fan base, I feel, is just not used to. And it's probably why they're struggling to come to terms with someone like Jean-Philippe Mateta being linked with Manchester United. We've done this before. Even when we were good, we went out and bought Louis Zaha from Fulham. And it turned out to be an absolute brilliant signing from Sir Alex Ferguson. Nobody minded digging in and taking players from teams that were down the table when Sir Alex was there. So why have we got a problem right now in taking them players while we're down there with them? Do you know what I mean? Like, you just got to look at what that player brings to you and what the manager wants. If he has got a characteristic in his game that Ruben needs, like Dorgu did, Mednes did, couldn't get him today. Gyökeres, Osimhen, they've got what he wants, couldn't get him today. You come down again. This is another Dorgu situation right now. It isn't top choice, but we're not going to get our top choices. It's second choice. That is where United's financial situation has left their transfer window. And that's all that is. That's all that is. 65% of you now are on to saying yes for Mateta. We have to be realistic with signings that we ain't getting big household names, so players like Mateta will be sort of players we will be getting. We will get Champions League football the season after if we get the right players in. That's a big ask, that one, Andy. Like I said before, it's alright thinking that is going to happen, but everybody else isn't going to stay still. We are miles behind everybody else right now, and everyone else in the Premier League is going to be strengthening as well, so reality tells you that it could take probably longer to get back into the Champions League via the league. But that is where that, again, the recruitment, that word comes up under everything. Every issue, every problem with the Glazers, Woodward, Mainoo, Judge, Arnold, whoever you want to say, all falls under that recruitment bracket and severe mistakes. Listening to Kieran Maguire, football finance expert, he lays it out. All the finances that I talk about and how Manchester United are looking into PSR and situations that we've got right now come from people like him and the Swedish Ramble, who go into detail on what Manchester United's finances are and what we can and can't do. It's all been brought about, and the debt's got worse for Manchester United simply because we have been spending whatever cash the club has made on wasted players and the players that are not good enough, spending massive amounts of money on wages. And eventually it just caught up with us. And I said this, I think this morning, was it, or late last night actually. The Glazers now cannot do anything else with this club. They're going to be sticking around no matter what happens. They just bought someone else in to try and make them money. And that's how the fans see it. And that, whichever way you look at it, there is more to it. And there is obviously the side of it from the INEOS side of things. But the fans will look at it as INEOS have brought in somebody else now to run the club to make them more money and keep making them money out of Manchester United. And that is INEOS. INEOS see it a different way. And we're not going to see the INEOS side of things until years down the line. But let's just see how they play it. I think we're all waiting to see if INEOS do make a move in the next 3 or 4 years on the Glazers and full ownership of the football club. And that, honestly, like, when you look at it, I just don't take this the wrong way, please. Don't quote me and say that I am bigging up INEOS in all of this. I know what they've done. They are the ones, like I just described, that are funding everything and are keeping United going for the Glazers and they're in situ. I get all of that, but I don't think anybody would have an issue with INEOS being in if the Glazers weren't there. I don't think anyone would have an issue with INEOS being in and doing what they're doing now with the football structure side of things if they were the ones coming in when the club was being floated. And I do understand what they're doing. Like, over the years, you look at the amount of staff that's come into Manchester United and how it's risen to astronomical numbers. INEOS have got the balls to come in and make some serious calls. They have. I'll give them that. And that's about it. They know how to build a football structure, and they can drive a hard bargain. And that's better for Manchester United. But they've got their own issues, INEOS, in all of this. But everything that is a problem at United is down to recruitment under the Glazers. That's it. And now we have to be very, very clever with it. And that's what I'm going to talk about next, actually. But first of all, Lee Cape Town with a super chat says, "Hey Adam, I don't get it. Why do people think Gyökeres is that good? Do any of the people here actually watch the Portuguese league? It's not that. It's not the hardest league in the world. I'm going to say that. Definitely not. INEOS is going to do the same thing at United as they did in Nice. We don't know yet, Modern Samurai. We don't know. They need to obviously have time to see if anything can happen. I do get what you're saying in terms of doing the same thing that they did with Nice. Difference is Manchester United is absolutely huge, and I think things will be different with them. But anyway. We'll see in time. We know what we're stuck with. We know the situations that we've got. This is why everything that's happening at Old Trafford tomorrow is happening with the fans, and we have to move on from there. That's it. Crappy ownership, like Susie says there. Let's hope no Samurai Nice are doing really well. Let's hope so. Glazers, INEOS, etc. No good billionaires. I don't think any billionaire got to where they are now without actually rattling a few cages, did they? I don't think any of them did it without being a little bit corrupt. Some of them very corrupt. And we all know that, don't we? We all know where we're actually at. What INEOS have done in the past, what they've been pulled on. We know about the Glazers. Like, it's well documented now and it's well written, isn't it? There is a story going across the bottom of your screen there as well. The sources on the Rasmus Hojlund side of things saying he could definitely be leaving on loan. It's come from the Muppeters, actually. I didn't want to out the Muppeters on this and say that they're the ones and make a joke out of a source or something like that, but they're the ones who have done this report. And they're saying that Rasmus Hojlund is looking highly likely to leave Manchester United in the summer, but only on loan, which is interesting. So let's see how that develops. I was supposed to talk about that last night, but it got carried away with all the Kobbie Mainoo story. So that's where we're at with Rasmus Hojlund right now. And I think we have said this many a times on this show before. The Rasmus Hojlund on loan probably isn't a bad move for him or United. You'd have his wages completely covered because he's not on much. And maybe we'd get a loan fee. And maybe he would improve. And he's a young striker. And while we're bringing in the likes of Mateta, who is obviously a player that is ready to go in the Premier League, or another striker, let's say, Rasmus Hojlund could be fine-tuning his game and come back stronger in a year's time. Maybe this is the plan for Manchester United. There's different ways of looking at the Mateta deal and that type of striker. A proven Premier League striker right now is hard to find. Very hard to find, at the right money especially anyway. And with Rasmus doing what he's doing, still being very, very young, and let's not forget, I've said this many a times before, some strikers don't find their feet until they're into their 23, 24 sort of years. So we've still got Hojlund, and he's still young. I think this is the situation we're looking at with him in terms of what we invested into him anyway. You could obviously argue the point was, why are we talking about getting rid of Garnacho then? Why are we talking about getting rid of Kobbie Mainoo then? Well, they're a different story from Manchester United. They have come in and they think they should be given everything. They should be given what is rightfully theirs because they've come through the academy. That's how it looks from the outside. I'm not saying that is the case, but when we're looking at it, it does look that way. And that's the mistake that United have made for years. Let's not forget, Rasmus Hojlund is only on 75 grand a week, and he's going to be on that for the next 4 years. So it isn't going to be an issue wage-wise for Rasmus Hojlund. Kobbie Mainoo wants 180 grand a week. That's a difference. That's a lot more money for someone who hasn't done a lot. We cannot argue about Rasmus Hojlund's transfer fee. We got shafted. They seen us coming, and we had our pants pulled down royally, didn't we? And now we're having to deal with it again. That was the old regime, and to deal with it in the day, in the here and now, we're having to do things like this. Maybe we could salvage Rasmus Hojlund with a loan. I think that makes total sense to me. And obviously, unless we wanted to sell him, but we're not really going to clear anything on PSI with selling Rasmus Hojlund this summer. So I think sensible talk is that Rasmus goes on loan. And I think I can get behind that. I can fully get behind that. As long as we get a loan fee and all his wages are covered, then it all helps Manchester United's summer. But make sure that you get a striker in and another striker in. Maybe they're looking at Chido playing instead of Rasmus and bringing in an experienced striker, Premier League proven, to play alongside him. Maybe that. We talked about Jonathan David this morning. I'm not going to get into that. We won't know about Jonathan David until Manchester United's season is up. I think the definites what are going to happen is Rasmus will leave in the summer. If United get Champions League or not, I think they need to make that happen. And I think, in fact, if United do get Champions League in the summer, it guarantees... if you get Champions League this season, it guarantees the summer that Rasmus Hojlund will be leaving on loan for me because United really just need to send him away while they've got time with him to get better. And then the season after, there's another year gone on his contract, another year's wages paid. I think then if it's not worked out, they will probably look to selling him into the start of his 4th year at the football club. But that was what the Muppeteers were running with earlier on today. Other news as well is that we've talked about this before. Manchester United are looking into Dorgeles Nene and Tyler Diblin. We know this. And they are the 2 players that Christopher Vival, Manchester United's head of recruitment now, has recommended to the board to replace Marcus Rashford and Alejandro Garnacho. And I think this is obviously a move that United are making. Like Dorgeles Nene, obviously he's going to play... So he's not going to cost a lot of money at all for Manchester United. In fact, peanuts. Absolute peanuts. Diblin, obviously, credit to Southampton for holding out as long as they did today against Liverpool, but Southampton are going down. They've got 9 points. They're done. Diblin is on the market, and he knows he isn't going to be waiting around at Southampton. There is hope there that they feel like they can keep him at the club and let him play in the Championship with a new contract next season again. It's not going to happen. Diblin will be moving. And I say that confidently that United could go for him. Yeah, we can. But again, the problem we've got with this is that you've got other clubs looking at Diblin, and anyone else could attract him in. You could look at any one of how many clubs. Let's just look. I mean, because if Aston Villa send back their loanees from January, could they not go and get a number 10 in Diblin? These are the things that are going to be up there. Liverpool could go for him. Obviously, you're looking at Newcastle. You're looking at Chelsea possibly as well, if they start having one of their summers and selling players. But United's head of recruitment, Christopher Vival, has earmarked them 2 players as 2 more teenagers as well. I know we do need that experience still as well. I get it. But them 2 players, I can definitely see why. I can see what he's doing there. And I can see this is how Manchester United's futures are going to be year after year after year now in trying to find the right players to come in. They're going to try and find the next player and develop him rather than get the ready-made. If there is anyone ready-made, it has to work in the right now. But I don't think ready-made necessarily means best in class, bang, bang, let's go, like a Osimhen or a Gyökeres. I think it is the likes of Mateta and that type of player. And there we go. Kobbie Mainoo can F off, says Ginge. Andy W with the donated membership. Thank you very much, my friend. Yamal is on 30k. Let that sink in. I think that will change very soon as well. No disrespect to Kobbie, but lad, you're winning 37. You're wearing 37 for a reason. Not a regular starter or even permanent squad member. Ooh, Modern Samurai writing on that one, but he also says make sure that you like the video, subscribe as well to Forever United TV, and get your comments in. That's important as well. We're into the comment section now, everybody. So yeah, thank you everyone who has liked the video already. Make sure you get them up. We're nearly at 200. That's our target today. Keep them coming. Mainoo doesn't fit this system, if we're being honest. Plus, he's being unreasonable. Might be best to cash in. Rashford coming on for Villa. Villa are playing right now, of course. I just couldn't be asked for that game, to be honest. As everybody knows, I am resting my voice up. So thank you again, everyone who did send me messages on that. So trying to just pick out the right bits of content at the moment just to make sure that I don't overdo it. It's getting better, by the way. It does feel a lot better today, so we are making the right moves. Tomorrow's going to be a difficult one. I don't know what I'm doing yet, so just stay tuned for that one. But I think the intrigue and the excitement of not knowing what I'm going to do is going to get you all subscribing and make sure that you tuned in just in case. I'm only messing, man. Just don't pay no attention to that. Anthony Wisdom with a super chat says, Glazers equals cancer, INEOS... sorry, say that again. Right, Glazers equals cancer, INEOS money equals remission. There's a lot that INEOS are doing that, I said before, the fans can only see as bankrolling the Glazers. How does someone come in and spend over $250 million and make us worse? I don't get it. It's weird. It is, isn't it? Adam, I just wonder if the players know that if they win the Europa League, their money... oh, yeah, that's right. There's money there to get in players and move out these dead wood and then be part of it. Well, one thing we have to think about as well in all of this, if United miraculously win the Europa League, and that is miraculous on its own, like I said, can't see it at the moment with the way we're playing. If United win the Europa League, United are back in the Champions League, which means that wage bill goes up 25% again because everybody at the club then starts getting full whack wages. Does that make the summer harder because then players then sit on even bigger wages than what they're on this season? That's something that we need to take into consideration with all of this as well. And I feel like that's something that everybody's missed right now because we do need to remember that the wage bill is down 25%. Obviously, we could probably counteract that with the players that are leaving, but you've got to bring players in. I think, obviously, in this summer, Manchester United will look to move Casemiro on. I think that is vitally important as well. There is talk of Casemiro and the summer. I think it was Samuel Luckhurst earlier on talking about Casemiro. Casemiro insists it's too soon to discuss his future beyond the season. Manchester United would likely need 15 million to sell in the summer. That was Casemiro's cut, as in clean break from the club for Manchester United. If we sold him for 15 million, we don't lose out on PSR. By the way, almost forgot, congratulations to the under-18s again today. Come back away to Derby. Scanlon, Biancheri scoring again for Manchester United. So another win for the under-18s. Going great guns at the moment there. So that obviously is something to bring up and be positive about as well. But in terms of what we were just talking about there, and where United are actually at with the likes of Casemiro needing to sell players in the summer, I don't think wage-wise there are many players that are overly concerning for the club now. Obviously, you got rid of Varane, you got rid of Martial, two big earners. Obviously, you're going to be getting rid of Eriksen, 150, Lindelof, 120. I think Heaton's on about 50. Same for Johnny Evans. That's a lot of money gone and out of the way for Manchester United right there. And then if you get rid of Casemiro and Marcus Rashford, you're pretty much left then with the likes of Bruno Fernandes, Mason Mount as the highest earners at the football club. Mason Mount is a big issue for Manchester United with them wages. Can you imagine if he contributes absolutely nothing to the season and we get into the Champions League and then his wages goes back up to $250 a week? Whoa, that would be killing people. That would be killing this fan base. It really would. Honestly, I don't know where we go with Mason Mount. Obviously, Ruben Amorim in his press conference yesterday was saying that Mason Mount will feature again this season. I don't know. I don't know. And I look at Mason Mount and go, that player I would have loved to have been in a Ruben Amorim side because I think he gets it. He really does. That's one player that I think Ruben's probably more gutted about than any other. Him and Ahmad, if we had them available all season, I think this team would be competing a lot more. I think we'd be a bit more competitive in every single competition that we're in this season. Into the comments we go again. Let's go, everyone. Get your comments in. Booked time off work for the Europa League game on Thursday, but not bought a ticket. Can't decide if I want to go. That's how bad it's got as a supporter. I think you can still buy tickets for the Arsenal game tomorrow. I'm pretty certain. United are actually selling padded seat tickets for £100 for the Arsenal game. Ouchie lala. That is where this club is at. It does look like, and I will make my decision tomorrow on what I am doing with the United game. I will make my decision whether or not we're even turning up, whether we're walking out. I'm trying to find out if there is an official walkout. I've not seen anything yet. But the fact that fans are turning tickets back and sending them back to the club right now, this is the way that United would be hit. So you talk about your protest. You can talk about everything else. You can talk about hitting the sponsors, doing online stuff and everything like that. It's fans not spending money. That's where it hits the United. That's where it hits the United owners. If the football's better and United are doing well, everyone's going to go into the stadium. But it's got to a point where they've made it that bad through the recruitment and the situation that they've developed over these last 10 years anyway. We've got to this point now where the football is that bad that fans just can't be asked turning up anyway. And that's it. It's not through protest. It's just that the board's shitless. And that is what will kill them. They will self-implode. Both of them, INEOS and the Glazers, if they carry on this path. They need to do something drastic to turn things around on the pitch, and that's the only way they will survive. They're about to drop the biggest bomb ever in upping season ticket prices for fans to watch shite football. That's what they're doing. And we would have had to have renewed our season tickets before the end of the season, pretty much, the end of May. That's usually what the protocol is. Do it now or you lose your tickets. It's as simple as that. And that is where this club is at. And that, I feel, is what will tilt the fans over the edge. Boxing Straight Talk says, come on, let's be honest. It makes sense to tie Kobbie down for the next 5 years because at very minimum his value may rise, but he's got to be realistic on his wages. No, I get it. In terms of, let's just put it in and tell you exactly where we're at right now. 1 second. It's going to bring up Kobbie Mainoo's current contract at Manchester United right now. Okay, let's bring it up. Bear with me 1 second, everyone. Right, here we go. Okay, Kobbie Mainoo contract runs out in 2027. So, right now he's got 2 years left to go. The club can extend that 2027 one. So, officially on the books, Kobbie Mainoo has got 2025 and 2025, 26, 27 left. So this year, obviously next season, and then obviously United can extend again. So they're in a comfortable enough position right now, Manchester United. Let's not forget, Kobbie Mainoo is 19 years old right now. This is what we need to be, I think, looking at above anything else. This, I feel, is where United are looking at it. It's like we've got a player there that's still contracted until 2027. United can extend that contract, but when so actually 27, yeah, so 2 years if United want to extend it another year after this season as well. So that's where we're at right now. 2 more seasons for Kobbie Mainoo. So we're in safe negotiation territory and no real drama, but it is where you would start to negotiate. And you do want to tie someone like Kobbie Mainoo down. He is a good talent. He's an exceptional player, but really when you look at it, it's a potentially exceptional player. And honestly, right now, if you were to ask me on the Kobbie Mainoo situation, where would you go? What would you do? I would sell him. That's just my straightforward answer because of the way that things are going right now. I don't see enough in Kobbie Mainoo in this team, especially under Ruben Amorim. And let's not forget, Ruben Amorim is going to be here for another 2 years. So if we can say, yeah, Kobbie Mainoo, in the future he's going to be great, what do we have to do? Forget about the next 2 years? And then another manager's gone. No, I'm not waiting another 2 years for someone to come good. I'm expecting him to start seeing improvement now. I'm definitely not expecting him to come to the table and say, I want 180 grand a week. I'm definitely not expecting that. And so, really, right now, I get where they're trying to tie him down. I understand it. I totally see why United want to do it. I can see, in fact, why Kobbie Mainoo and his people are actually asking for what they are. When you look at Mason Mount, for instance, he thinks that he is a player that should be on something near to that. But the difference this time is that you've got INEOS in at Manchester United, and it's not the Glazers, Ed Woodward, Murto, or... And Kobbie Mainoo's people have to just realise that this is a different Manchester United. Sadly for them, they're not going to be able to take the club to the cleaners like many other agents have done before with their clients. But good for United that we have got someone standing the ground with these players when they're coming in with these ludicrously crazy wage demands. Sorry, Adam, I'm disappointed in Mainoo becoming arrogant and mercenary. Take the money for him. Oh, that's Babs. She's going in on him. She's had enough. I think you've sat through enough, Babs, to be honest. And I think you've got every right to ask for that. Jonathan says, at 66 quid, all the seats should be padded and heated. 100% Adam, I'd sell him as well. I would. Honestly, like right now, I just look at everything that's going on. I'd sell him. I would. I'd take the money for Kobbie Mainoo. If someone offers 70 million, you don't turn that down. You don't turn that down. There are better players, I feel, even coming through Manchester United's academy that could be better than Kobbie Mainoo right now. You don't know, and you don't know if Kobbie Mainoo's going to reach his potential. So really, when you judge it, you've got to judge it off what he's done so far. He's turned up in some games and been world class. That was last season. This season, he's fallen off completely. Are you going to judge giving someone 180 grand a week contract off the back of last season and what he's done, and this season and what he's done last season? Is that how you're going to judge it? No other professional football club on the planet would be even contemplating giving Kobbie Mainoo 180 grand a week in United's situation right now. Not a one. And that is what we have to base this off. Who else would do this deal? Who else would want to make this happen? Nobody. Nobody in the Premier League would. Red Army General says Mateta isn't good enough for Palace, so absolutely no chance. I think he is. He's got more goals than our strikers this season anyway, and he's played less games. Dan says, I think it's important to note that we don't know that this is Kobbie saying this right now. Most likely media speculation and both sides just trying to get what they want. No, it's his agent, Dan. It's his agent. But we have to obviously say, look, we're going to negotiate this deal for you, and Kobbie Mainoo is going to say, yeah, okay. And that's it. As soon as he signs off on the agents, everybody will look to Kobbie Mainoo. He could easily come out and say, no, don't do that. Let's wait out the rest of this season and come back to the table in the summer. But really what we're hearing right now is being leaked out. And it could be leaked out by the club deliberately, like someone said last night, simply because they feel like they want to move Kobbie Mainoo on. It could be applied for him to make a little bit of money with PSR by selling a homegrown player. We don't know, but the leaks are out, and I feel like we're in that area again. We're trying to decide on whether the potential of a player is where we should be really banking, or are we going to just be sensible and judge it for where he is now and what he's done so far. If we are sensible, Kobbie Mainoo is sold. Kobbie is technically outstanding. He just needs to build on his athleticism, which is possible. His speed isn't there, mate. He's never going to get that speed. 100% certain he's not going to get that. We got what we've got with him with his speed. I get all these other attributes, his skill. He has got strength. I won't have that conversation with people saying that he isn't strong. He is deceptively strong, that lad. He really is. He's got great feet. I just feel like the game runs past him. I don't think he's athletic enough to deal with the modern game. And the biggest point, he just doesn't have what Ruben wants him to do. And that's where we have to judge everything. If there's a player that's going to be sat on the sidelines that's worth 70 million that could be sold to bring in someone who's going to work better in a starting 11, you sell him. That's the sensible thing to do. We shouldn't even be talking about this right now, but we are because of where we are in the league and the desperate situation as to why everyone's doing what they're doing tomorrow against Arsenal. And that's where I wanted to really finish the show off and just say, like, the most important thing right now, I think this weekend, we'll get back to football talk, I'm sure, Sunday evening, and then into Monday again, looking ahead to that massive game against Sociedad on Thursday night. But I think the important thing is right now is the protest, what happens tomorrow against Arsenal, and the fans all coming together in some way to try and make the points about how poorly this football club has been run. Shram with the super chat, thank you very much, mate. He says, Mainoo leaks look like division tactic by the club to dilute protest and divide fan base with people losing jobs. Why would agent leak salary demands? I don't know. You could look at it in that way and say you've got a point. Nothing's really going to divide the fan base about the protest tomorrow. That's too strong. There's nothing that they can do or leak out that's going to deter anything that happens tomorrow. That is going on full bore, full power. No rain tomorrow as well. It's going to be a nice day to do a bit of a walk. So if you're up for it, Tollgate, 3 o'clock. March starts at 3:15. Down Tollgate Road, onto Warwick Road, then onto St Matt Busby Way and into the Munich Tunnel. If you want to protest tomorrow and vent your frustrations at this ownership at the football club, then be there at the tollgate at 3 o'clock. That's when everything is organised and everything starts at 3:15. So go grab yourself a drink, get yourself ready, and free up your vocal cords. On that note, I'm going to go and rest mine again. Much needed, ready for what is going to be a pretty busy day tomorrow. And we did just hit 200 live likes as well. Give the video a like on your way out, everybody. Please subscribe to the channel as well. Make sure that you are up to date. Get your bell notifications pressed so you miss out on other content. And I will see you bright and early, 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, everybody, as we start what is going to be a very, very busy day for Manchester United ahead of what is going to be probably a more memorable day off the pitch than it is on it. Well, you never know. Something could happen on the pitch, but off it is more important tomorrow. Cheers for watching, everybody. I will see you.